Namaskar. In this session, we will try to understand the 24 Ashuddha Tattvas or impure building blocks. These 24 Ashuddha Tattvas are something that we have to understand. All 24 Tattvas together. When the will for creation awakens in Parabrahman or Parasambit or in absolute oneness, which was till then undifferentiated and homogeneous, the five Shuddha Tattvas of Shiva, Shakti, Sadashiva, Ishvara and Shuddhavidya are born. Let us never forget that Shiva is the tantric name for the infinite, immeasurable supreme consciousness. Whenever the name Shiva is heard, we should remember that the reference is to the supreme consciousness. The Shakti Tattva is the inseparable power of that supreme consciousness. Shiva and the inseparable Shakti of Shiva, or in other words, the supreme consciousness and the inseparable power are two sides of the same coin. It is like fire and heat. They are two aspects that are mutually inseparable. Tantra says that when the desire for creation arose in supreme consciousness, the supreme consciousness reflected its Shakti as if in a mirror and thus got its Shakti separated as a different entity. This Shakti has the power to lower and raise consciousness. Maya is the name given to the power to lower the consciousness. However, the general responsibility for the supervision of the process of lowering the consciousness rests with the Ishvara Tattva of the five Shuddha Tattvas. The power that elevates consciousness is Shakti itself. Then again, the general responsibility for the supervision of the process of elevation lies with the Sadashiva Tattva of the five Shuddha Tattvas. It is the Sadashiva Tattva that gives grace and blessings to the living beings, living souls. The responsibility of Shuddhavidya Tattva is the general supervision of creation, sustenance and destruction process of the universe. These five Shuddha Tattvas together are responsible for the existence and operation of the entire universe. They are given the highest status as Ishvaras in Tantra. Ishvaras are accessible to us even though they are invisible and exist in a different level, on a different realm, or a different dimension, or in a different world. It is possible for us to cultivate an interpersonal relationship with them and cultivate a love for them. In fact, such an interpersonal relationship with Ishvaras are very much required for the expansion of our consciousness. That is why it is often repeated that we need to develop devotion or bhakti for self-realization. Jnana and karma alone are not sufficient. Bhakti, jnana and karma, all the three are required. Devotion or bhakti should be based on love and not on fear. In fact, temples of worships are designed in Tantra to cultivate this love and devotion for Ishvaras. Next, we saw 7 pure impure tattvas, which are Purusha, Maya and her 5 companions. They become partially Shuddha because their birth is along with Shiva Shakti in Brahman. However, at the same time, their operations are in a different dimension where creations exist. That is how they became partially Ashuddha. That is why the 7 principles of Purusha, Maya and the 5 Kanjugas of Maya are called Ashuddha, Shuddha, 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 meaning pure impure. We have seen that Maya and her 5 companions of Maya, namely Kala, Kalam, Nedi, Ragam, Vidya, these 5 plus 1, 6 tattvas limit the supreme Shiva consciousness and reduce it as Purusha consciousness in us humans. Purusha is the masculine principle that is, in a manner of speaking, Maya reduces 1 million volts of Shiva consciousness to 1 volt in Purusha consciousness, which is what we are. Maya has greatly reduced our ability to see, hear, taste, touch, smell, and also our ability to understand things. Using the rope made of time, space, destiny and karmic laws, Maya ties us down like a cow. if the development of consciousness is our life goal, then we need to understand all of these details. Various ways to overcome these limitations must be understood, and we must put in self-efforts with bhakti, jnana and karma in equal measures. These are called spiritual activities. We can indeed live 24 hours a day with this awareness, meaning without giving up the awareness of the bigger picture of things. We have to be aware, we have to act with awareness, we have to speak with awareness. It is not enough to do this occasionally. It should be so done every time, all the time. Try this out and you will succeed, because we too have the Icha Jnanam Kriya power of Shiva consciousness to a lesser extent in our current Purusha consciousness. Although we are now limited and bound like cows with Purusha consciousness, we are actually one with Shiva consciousness. Never forget this. It must be remembered and effort should be undertaken to return to Shiva consciousness from our current Purusha level of consciousness. So far, we have seen how we have become limited ourselves, even though we are the same Shiva consciousness. We have not only become the limited Purusha consciousness by the action of Maya and her 5 companions, but we have also forgotten, we have also lost even the knowledge that we are really the same Shiva consciousness. That is the reason why we have to come to earth again and again wearing this body-mind attire and live in this world of dualities. Our body and mind, as well as our earth and the universe itself, are made up of 24 Ashuddha Tattvas. Let us examine what are these 24 Ashuddha Tattvas. We are made up of 2 types of bodies. One is gross and the other is subtle. The gross body is visible. It is made up of blood, bones, marrow, flesh, semen, fat and fluids. The subtle body is made up of 5 invisible molecules or tanmatras and 3 internal instruments. I will be talking about them very soon. Both the gross body and the subtle body are made of matter. Both are the products of Shakti. And what is Shakti? Shakti is the power of Shiva consciousness. Shakti is energy, but energy at a very high level of frequency of vibration. As the rate of vibration decreases, energy transforms into matter. An example of energy becoming matter is the process of photosynthesis of plants from sunlight. We know the relationship between energy and matter from Einstein's famous formula, E is equal to mc squared. That is how our body and mind have come into being using the 24 Ashuddha Tattvas. All these 24 Tattvas are different frequencies of the energy of Shakti Tattva. Of these 24 Ashuddha Tattvas, only the ones with the lowest frequencies are visible to us as material objects. This is because their vibration level is so low that they turn into matter. Matter and energy are equally real and existing. For example, our mind is not visible to our eyes. Yet, we all know that there is such a thing like mind. Excepting a few, all of the Ashuddha Tattvas are at the high frequency level. Therefore, they are not visible. It is how we are unable to see the blades of a ceiling fan rotating at a high speed, and we can see them when the speed reduces. But the real we, meaning the consciousness that we are neither gross nor subtle. We are in a para state, which is beyond both gross and subtle states of subtle state. Consciousness is not something that is derived from energy. In fact, it is consciousness that created energy. The para nature of consciousness can only be said as supremely the subtlest state in the English language. Tantra says that our body and this universe are made up of 5 bhutas. These 5 bhutas are called Panchabhutas, which is the first 5 Ashuddha Tattvas. The Panchabhutas are the 5 Tattvas of earth, water, fire, air and ether. Earth is the grossest Tattva. The most subtle tattva is ether. The tattvas of earth, water, fire, air and ether are becoming more and more subtle in that order. These are the elemental forms, the basic building blocks of everything. All of these Panchabhutas exist either alone as an elemental form or in conjunction with each other bhutas. When we hear the words earth, water, fire, air and ether of the Panchabhuta elements, we should not take them as the earth we see on the ground, the water we see coming out of our tap, or the air we know when it blows, the sky that we see, etc. Each of the Panchabhutas is an element of a particular set of characteristics. The water that comes out of our taps, the fire that burns in the oven, and the air that we breathe are all created by these Panchabhutas in their different unique combinations. To understand this, remember that a flame cannot be formed in the absence of oxygen. The flame that burns before our eyes exists in the medium of ether. In the absence of air, the fire cannot burn. This means the element earth should not be confused with the compound earth. These Panchabhutas reside in their respective 5 molecules called Panchatanmatras. Those 5 molecules or Tanmatras are the next 5 Ashuddha Tattvas. Sound is the molecule of ether. Touch is the molecule of air. The form is the molecule of fire. Taste is the molecule of water. The odor, the smell, is the molecule of earth. That is, the tattva of earth is contained in the sound molecule. The earth tattva is contained in the molecule of odor. As the vibration of molecules decreases, the molecules of or Tanmatras stay in close proximity to each other. Consequently, they become denser and denser. That is how energy becomes matter. The molecules or Tanmatras of sound move farther apart as the sound molecules or Tanmatras vibrate at higher frequency levels. Therefore, ether is the most subtle tattva and has the greatest spectrum width. The world is made up of these 5 Tanmatras of sound, touch, form, taste and smell. We come to know of the existence of the world as these 5 molecules or Tanmatras interact with our consciousness through the power of our senses. And who are we? We have seen that we are Purusha consciousness. It is this Purusha consciousness that wears the body-mind attire. Maya has reduced the vast spectrum of sound, touch, form, taste and odor to mere molecules or Tanmatras. Therefore, we can only hear sound waves between 20 and 20,000 Hertz. 15 billion bits of information per second is available to all our 5 sense organs put together, but only a very trivial 15 to 20 bits of information per second can be perceived by our limited mind through 5 types of Tanmatras. Can you not see the effect of the great fall from Shiva consciousness to Purusha consciousness? How do we come to know of the existence of this world? We know the existence of the world when the Tanmatras enter our triad of the inner instrument, mind, intellect, ego. Through our 5 sensory powers, the sound tattva of the ether reaches the triad of inner instruments as the Tanmatra of sound. The inner instrument processes it, which is understood by the consciousness that we are. We hear and know the sound through the power or sense of hearing. The power or sense of hearing is not the same as the ear. It is the power of hearing that is responsible for that. Similarly, the 5 senses are the tattvas of the 5 inner powers powers or shaktis. They are the power of hearing, the power of touch, the power of sight, the power of taste, the power of smell. The 5 senses are the 5 respective shaktis or powers of the 5 senses. The eye is different, the power of eyesight is different. That is why the blind has the physical, though he has the physical eyes, he cannot see. because the blind do not have the power of sight. Similarly, the internal senses of hearing, touch, taste, smell are respective powers. So far we have understood 15 Ashuddha Tattvas, Panjabhutas 5, Panchatanmatras 5, Pancha Jnanendriyas or 5 sensory powers, all together total 15. Thus, the knowledge of the world that we obtain through the 15 Ashuddha Tattvas comes down to the 16th Ashuddha Tattva now, Manas, the mind. When we look at a candle, when the Tanmatras of the Panjabhutas that created that candle pass through the external physical instrument eye and enter the mind using the power of sight, our consciousness sees and understands it as a candle. The other two tattvas that go hand in hand with the tattva of mind are buddhi or intellect and the ahankar or ego. It is the work of the intellect to classify whether it is a candle or it is something else, whether it is beautiful or not, whether it is red candle or white candle, etc., etc. It is the buddhi tattva that decides whether the candle can be used, how it can be used, whether it should be used at all or not, whether it is right to use or wrong to use, etc. The ahankara tattva determines whether the candle is my candle or someone else's candle. It is the ahankara tattva that labels everything as mine and not mine, etc. This triad of manas, buddhi and ahankar, meaning mind, intellect, ego, are called three antahkaranas, meaning three internal instruments. 15 plus 3 make it 18 Ashuddha Tattvas now. There is one thing to note here. Tantra only talks about the three inner instruments, namely Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar. But in Vedanta, the inner instruments are 4, namely Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar and Chitta. In Tantra, Chitta is the surface of the mind and not counted separately. Along with this, there is one another thing that we need to understand. The great 6 philosophies of India are Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Samkhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa or Advaita. It can be said that Nyaya is the detailed rules of correct argumentation or debate. This means that all enquiries, findings, debates and peer reviews were all subjected to strict rules, similar to today's scientific principles of research. Any of the great Indian philosophies are not mere gibberish that came to their mouth. They are all conclusions reached after establishing well-defined objectives. The findings are thoroughly researched and peer-reviewed and debated for generations. Nyaya is essentially the rules of debate and the research. In Samkhya, one of these 6 philosophies, only these 24 tattvas are stated. But in Tantra, beyond these 24 tattvas, there are 7 Shuddha Ashuddha tattvas, 5 Shuddha tattvas, and thus a total of 36 principles are detailed. These 12 additional tattvas in Tantra are about the realities in or originating from the transcendental dimension. In ancient India, it is a person who understands the 36 tattvas are called a tattvajnani or a philosopher. The Indian philosophy of Samkhya deals with the principles of causation and its relationship with Purusha Prakriti tattvas as the fundamental cause for the existence of the universe of multiplicity. Sankhya gives an account of the prevailing metaphysical state of human beings and the means by which the human suffering can be remedied. In the Vedanta philosophy of India, the subject of discussion is the Advaita knowledge or the non-dual nature of the universe. This is the final state of our consciousness that all of us must reach in the end. In the case of the yoga philosophy of India, the topic is the roadmap from Dvaita consciousness to Advaita consciousness. Tantra contains all of these and more. See how comprehensive and profound Tantra is. Tantra is both ancient and modern at the same time. Tantra will appeal to those who understand quantum physics and particle physics, etc. Thus, the whole universe and everything that is in it is made up of the Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas reside in the Panchatanmatras, which fall on the surface of the Antakaranas using the Shakti of the 5 Indriyas and then get classified and tagged as good or bad or mine or not mine by the activity of the Buddhi and Ahankara. This is what we, the Purusha consciousness, are coming to aware of. After this, we need to respond and interact with the world based on the information thus gathered and stored in the mind. For this, we have 5 motor organs, collectively named as Pancha Karmendriyas. The 5 motor organs or Pancha Karmendriyas are word for speaking, foot for walking, hand for taking and giving, genitals for reproduction, and anus for defecation. In Sanskrit, they are called Vaka, Padam, Pani, Upastham, Payu respectively. Thus, 18 and 5 make 23 Ashuddha Tattvas now. One of the remaining Ashuddha Tattvas is the Prakriti Tattva. That is the only one remaining now. Now we have seen the Panchabhutas, the Panchatanmatras, the Pancha Jnanendriyas, the 3 Antakaranas and Pancha Karmendriyas. All these 23 tattvas are all put together is called Prakriti. Sankhya defines Prakriti as the combination of the 3 qualities of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas in a perfectly balanced equilibrium. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are not tattvas. These 3 are the qualities or gunas of the Prakriti Tattva. The Sattva quality is the highest noble and upward directing quality. The quality of Rajas is the virtue of always being active. The Tamas is the state of inactivity. These trinity of gunas cast a shadow over all of the remaining 23 Ashuddha Tattvas. These 3 gunas will always be evident in any mixed proportion, or these trinity of gunas cast a shadow over all of the remaining 23 Ashuddha Tattvas. These 3 gunas will always be evident in any mixed proportions in everything existing in the universe, including all of us. Any one of these 3 qualities will be prominent at all times. When I talked about the space and time in the last session, I had mentioned about the quality of time at 3 o'clock in the morning. I think you remember that. Time is an aspect of the created universe and hence it has a quality permeating through it. One of these 3 gunas. Our body is a combination of the Purusha Tattva of our consciousness, which I described in the previous session, and the Prakriti Tattva, which I just described in this session. There is a beautiful parable to understand this. Prakriti has no eyes and cannot see, but she has legs and she can walk. The Purusha has eyes and can see, but he has no legs and he can't walk. Purusha sits on the shoulders of Prakriti so that the resultant entity can see and walk. Seeing is the ability to know, to become aware of. Walking is the ability to live and engage in activities. Such a symbiotic relationship exists between Purusha and Prakriti Tattvas. The subject-object relationship is between Purusha and Prakriti. The one who knows is the Purusha. The one that is known is Prakriti. We have 3 components of our existence. Our physical body is our gross body. Our subtle body is the Panchatanmatras and the 3 Antakaranas. Both are objects, the known. Our Purusha consciousness is the knower, the I factor. The I factor is neither gross nor subtle. It is a state of para that transcends both grossness and subtlety. With the understanding of what Prakriti is, we now have understood all of the 24 Ashuddha Tattvas. 7 Shuddha Ashuddha Tattvas and 5 Shuddha Tattvas. Thus, we have now completed the study of 36 Tattvas. Now we can take a general overview of all 36 tattvas and try and understand what we need to know about our mind, soul and rebirth. But all that will be in the next session. Thank you.